if I was talking to my 12 to 18-year-old self, these are the things that I would say. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm not going to put any fancy edits on this. I'm not going to edit it at all. I'm not going to put B-roll over it. I'm not going to put fancy music over it. I'm not going to make it entertaining. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to look you in the eye, and I'm going to tell you everything that I wish I knew from those ages and the mistakes that I made and the things that I would do better. And as I've been reflecting, one of them has been that you should not do anything that you don't want to do extremely well. And there's several reasons for that. Ultimately, it's a waste of time, and I'll explain why. I'll explain you why you need to do that and why it's a waste of time if you don't do that. It doesn't matter what it is. Choose to do it well or don't do it. And even now, I'm still facing that with myself by developing a bad habit of half-assing certain things. I would half-ass things that I didn't want to do, and it would still hurt me when I should have just not done it. Okay, so the reason that you need to do a good job at anything that you do, and it sounds simple and it sounds easier said than done, right? But when you don't want to do something, sometimes it makes it hard to do something. And I would say that you need to have the ability to, one, do the thing well, even if you don't want to do it. But also you need to have the awareness to say no and just not do it. Okay, so let's say that you want to paint a picture. You want to paint a mural for the school. You're not an artist, but you kind of want to try it. You've done little hobby things here and there, and you think it'd be cool. You don't care so much about it. Maybe you're an athlete and you want to do this on the side or whatever. Something. It doesn't really matter. You don't think it matters. And you go to do the mural and it's not very good. It's a 4 out of 10. It looks not that good. People are going to walk by and look at that mural, and the people that hired you to do that mural are going to know that you wasted their time and you took someone else's spot to do it and you didn't take it serious. They're going to know you're not a great artist. People are going to laugh at it, and your name is going to be attached to that. And it's not only going to be attached to that in the form of art, but it will be attached to that in the form of anything. You are now unreliable. So not only did you make a bad piece of art, people trust you less in all realms. The piece of art is irrelevant, but now you're unreliable, and people need to question if they should take your word for doing things. Whereas if you would have not done it, at all, people wouldn't have any connection to you. So if you wanted to do something that you would actually have done a good job at, let's say like do a speech for the school, and you were really excited about doing the speech and you did a 7.5 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10 good job on the speech. People will now be excited about your name. They'll be excited about your competence, about you being able to pull off what you said you would be able to pull off. And now people might be like, hey, you did good at that speech. Maybe you can do this presentation. Or maybe you can do this, or you can do that. Maybe you can do the halftime show at the basketball game. And now you have more opportunities. So you think a little mural doesn't matter, or you think that speech doesn't matter, but it compounds into everything else, and it can make your life so much easier. And so since I'm talking to young men, I'll talk about dating as well. If you say something really weird to a girl, and she starts telling all her friends that you're weird, that may hurt your chance of getting with other girls now. Whereas, let's say you said you were weird to that girl because you didn't like her that much. If you would have just told her you didn't like her, it would have worked out better. Or if you just would have avoided the girl, than if you did something weird. Because now your reputation is that you're weird with women, and now when she tells her friends in the group chat or whatever at the lunch table, you will be less attractive to all of the women because that woman's putting smut on your name because you weren't interested and you were being strange about it. Whereas even if you didn't like her and you still did a good job at making her like you, she would talk about you more positively to her girlfriends and they would be more interested in you. Now you have a bad reputation and you have to fight back against that. I'll talk about it in a form of business. Let's say you sold something to somebody, but you didn't really make any money on it. So you got a product for $5 and you sold it to them. You sold it to that person for $6. So you weren't super serious about doing a good job. You weren't super serious about being on time to the meeting. You weren't super serious about shipping it out. You weren't super serious about the condition of it. Now, when they refer you to other people because you did a bad job delivering that product or service to X, Y, and Z person, they're going to say that you're a scammer. And it's going to be harder to get business, and it's going to slow you up when you go on to sell something that you got for $5 and now you want to sell it for $100. So now you're out of $95 and your name is tarnished because you didn't do a good job on that, because you didn't say no to that first person in the first place, or you didn't just do a good job in that situation even though you weren't going to make money on it. And I've done this a million times over. I like to be a Klansman and be loyal to all of the people around me. So anytime anyone asks me for anything, I say yes, even if I'm not good at it. They'll be like, hey, can we build this thing? I'm not super blue-collar handyman, but I can lift things and carry things. But when the shit gets fucked up, or I'm a little bit like, not even if it gets fucked up, if I'm a little bit slow or I'm kind of like lazy with it, or I don't know exactly what I'm doing, so I'm waiting around for directions, they're just going to think I'm lazy. They're just going to think that I'm taking advantage of them. Even if you're doing it for free, you might as well say no unless you're going to do a good job at it. So those are a bunch of examples of that. What else do I wish I knew from 12 to 18 or whatever? I mean, this goes into the same bucket, but everything compounds. If you do a good job at something, it makes it easier to do the next thing. You get a bit more dopamine from it. You feel more fulfilled from it, and people will be more excited about you for that thing, and they'll say good things about you, and it will compound. Even if, especially when it comes to money or like being organized and on top of the little details about things. If you overall present yourself as sharp and look good and you show up on time and you know, hey, someone's like, how much does that cost? That costs $8 because you put it in a spreadsheet or you did your research and you knew ahead of time. If you're like, let me check, I'll get back to you, and this and that, of course those things happen. But if you just come across as sharp all the time, great things will happen. I used to have a very poor reputation because I would not speak very well and I would not present myself well, and I'd be like, oh, I'm not sure, I don't know. So people wouldn't have confidence in me to do things because I was I would say I don't know to things that I do know. Whereas if I had a clear, concise answer, even if the answer is no, yes, I don't want to do that, people would understand that you're a sharp guy and you can be relied on. Sometimes taking that little loss of disappointing people on the front end is better overall than saying yes to something you don't want to do, or answering a question you don't know in a way and being unsure about it and not being clear and coming across as confident in whatever you're doing. It will hurt you more than just saying, no, I don't do that. No, I'm not doing that. Yes, I'll be here at this time. Here's another one, being late. You want to be here, and here, and you're cutting it so close that you're going to end up late at all these places. You're going to be late at least 1 or 2 or 3 of these places. And now people are upset at you because you're late and you're messing up their schedule when you're working your butt off and you said yes to their thing because you didn't want to let them down. You might let them down by being late. You should have just said no, or you should have said, I can be there, but I will be 20 minutes late. Maybe this is super basic information, but I think my overall point is emphasizing the importance on it and how big it is, how important it is. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter if you're your own boss. You need to look sharp and competent at all times. It doesn't matter if you can be late because you're doing it for free and they're not paying you. You will hurt your name. So there's never a good time to not do a good job at something, to not be on time, to not be sharp. It's you might as well just stay in the house. Seriously. You will gain more by staying in the house and watching a Netflix movie than going out and doing a bad job at things. And I'm telling you from experience because I need to learn to say no. $12 to 18. What else? Be nice to everyone as much as you possibly can. Of course, you're going to have to hold your ground and stay firm on things and tell people no and protect your respect. But I promise you that relationships are everything. I've started and stopped a bunch of businesses and I've made good money in those businesses, but there'd come to a point where if I had someone I could call to do, it's not even that if I had someone to call, it's that you realize you need people to make any more than X amount of money because you can only do so much. You can't be the best at everything. And this ties all the way back in. You won't be able to do the greatest job at everything because it takes too much mental capacity. You can only be in one place at a time. And there's only so many hours in a day. You're going to sacrifice parts of your life for other things. You can only do certain things so well, and you will need people to help you. You will need people to help you, so you need to be nice to everyone because you never know when you're going to be like, that would be the perfect person to help me with this business. Not just to help you with this business. You want it to make sense for them too. But they might be the best person in position to do this business with you. And if you have a weird relationship with them or you messed it up by doing something negative like I explained for the last 5 minutes, then you won't have that option available to you. Same goes for women. But I'm going to contradict myself on the women end. Most of the women that they're girls. Girls, women that you're talking to in high school, they're going to get ugly. They're going to get fat. They're going to have a kid. So the ones that are rejecting you now, I promise you in 5-10 years, 80-90% of them are going to be unattractive. So don't worry about them. Seriously, do not get caught up worrying about them. Don't let them have you late for basketball practice. Don't let them have you late with your schoolwork if you want to go the school route. Don't make decisions that will do things that will hurt you in the future because you have the future, they don't have the future. I promise you, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram and I see girls that I used to be like, that used to kind of play around with me and reject me. And I'm like, golly, man, I'm glad that I wasn't with them because look at them now. They're a train wreck. They got 3 kids. They 40 pounds overweight. They got messed up weave. They ain't looking good. They living in a dusty apartment. They getting beat up by whoever they're with now. Trust me, you have the future. They don't have the future. So the overall biggest point, if I had to summarize it up in one lesson, would be that everything compounds. Every dollar turns into $2 if you allow it. But if you show up late to things, and if you be unsharp, and you be lethargic, and you mess things up, and you are unreliable to people, it takes away equity out of what you've created for the long term. There's nothing, you can't do nearly as much as you think you can do in a month. But if you do a good job every day, just do a good job every day. Just be sharp every day over 5, 10, 12 years, it will compound. You're not going to get the results in 3, 6 months. Compounding is where you get the disproportionate advantage, not what you do in one particular day. So don't bank yourself on one day, 1 week, 1 month. Do the best you can do at whatever you're doing every single day, and it will compound. And I wish I would have done that when I was younger, because I would be way off. I'd be way better off. And I did a lot of that super well, but I can tie back 1, 2, 3, 4, a couple mistakes that have deleted all of that compounding. But on the other side of things, you don't want to be too scared of losing on things, because you will lose on things and it will happen. And if you're not willing to take risk, then you won't be able to get disproportionate results as well. So they go together. You have to be calculated in your risk taking, but you also need to make sure that you're not like betting your whole life on one little project or one little days of work. I don't want to say not betting on it, because in part that means doing a good job by saying I need to make sure this is the best every day, but don't crash out too often on things, because it can really set back the compounding of what happens when you do a good job every single day.